episode of the Best People podcast. Just scan the QR code on your screen to watch the whole conversation on YouTube or download the Best People wherever you get your podcast. Thank you so much for letting us into your homes today. We are grateful to meet with Ari Melber starts right now. Hi, Ari.
Hi, Nicole. Did you sleep? I slept a little bit. It's nice to see you.
I slept a little bit. My daughter was still awake when I got home at 11:30, so that was fun. She's not too wet, so that was interesting. And then I taped the podcast today, so, just keep moving because when you sit down, we'll fall asleep.
Exactly. You move, and that's how you know you're still awake. I'll see you soon. It was great seeing you last night. Thanks to Nicole Wallace. Welcome to Rita Hard-Nuggets. We're moving on this string of Democratic wins that are clearly upending politics today. The voters turned out and spoke really with one voice across the country. They spoke out and voted against Trump's unpopular second term. Democrats reaching quote the most important goal in politics in the Times report today, showing they can win and win big. Sometimes it is that simple. Democratic candidates won decisively double-digit victories in New Jersey and Virginia with them for the governor's mansion, propelling a new young face in New York, showing momentum in pockets of purple and red areas, the kind of places that will decide the midterms if past precedent holds. And those midterms are, as of this week now, just 1 year away. So will these results shape what comes next? Will they bring a Democratic rejoinder to the MAGA era 1 year from this week in the midterms? And which results are about these Democratic candidates versus policy debates, which don't depend on the person? Which results are about what is clearly a growing Trump backlash, despite what you may have heard from some smart elites? And what are the other dynamics that actually occurred last night that could be harder to replicate in the future? Let me tell you this. Right now tonight, over the course of this hour, we will report for you and try to bring you the evidence, the numbers, the hard facts, what actually is happening, to answer each of those questions on this special election post-game show tonight. We're going to build on those breaking election results that we reported out across election night with Michael Steele joining us shortly. He's standing by to be my first guest in a few moments. To begin right now, though, with a few words from the winners. And how they touted that the voters rejected quote kings and how they were quote turned the ball off.
Here in New Jersey, we know that this nation has not ever been, nor will it ever be ruled by kings. We sent a message to the whole world that in 2025, Virginia chose pragmatism over partisanship.
Let me make this crystal clear. We can de facto end Donald Trump's presidency as we know it.
If anyone can show a nation betrayed by Donald Trump how to defeat him, it is the city that gave rise to him. So Donald Trump, since I know you're watching, I have 4 words for you. Turn the volume up.
4 words, turn the volume up. Those victorious candidates speaking with the confidence of the mandates they now have for governor. Voters recoiling from Trump's extreme second-term agenda, which has been very clearly lived and seen across this year, and a Democrat step sweep, which marks a big step toward getting their group back, as the New York Times headline. We heard our Wall Street Journal reports on the clear dent in Trump's coalition, because even in blue-leaning states, as I'm about to show you, Dems also gained ground in areas that Trump had previously excelled in. Now, politics is full of spin. But this sweep is clear enough that President Trump is not even trying to lie about the law, as he did in 2020. Instead, the president rushing to basically put something out there, as they say. He likes to post online. He admits the shutdown hurt his Republican Party. Well, the RNC veterans means there's no sugarcoating these results. They are really bad for the GOP. The nonpartisan Politico, picking through these Democratic wins, New York's first Democratic socialist mayor, Virginia's first female governor, America's first Muslim woman elected statewide. The Republican Party, they observed, took one hell of a kicking. Wilson goes on to ask, sarcastically, tired of someone winning? They know the MAGA slapback. that these were, quote, the first major election since Trump returned to the White House. And there's no other way of spinning the voters' response. Democrats outperformed expectations in every significant race across America. Many of the headlines and sort of the big stories, as they say, have followed some of the key races in blue areas. But the problem with the Republican Party is that this goes beyond New York City or one blue state, quote unquote. Democrats found momentum across red states as well. They won 2 seats in Mississippi, a seat that was their best performance there in over a decade. In Georgia, the voters asked for 2 Republicans from the key local commission. The Democrats hadn't won that office since 2007. Democrats beat back efforts to oust 3 judges in a state where Trump did win, Pennsylvania, you can call it a swing state or a Trump state, but they prevailed there last night. Wherever people had a chance to vote, the Democrats won. And then you had something that was in, of course, one of the bluest states, California, but their bid to fight fire with water and douse Trump's off-year gerrymandering to rig the midterms also won decisively and was backed by a person who may want to run against Trump. California government. Now, these results and these calls came in quickly last night. Nicole and I were just chatting in the handoff about how you stay up late, and when we're here in the newsroom, you really don't know what's going to happen. You really do wait on the votes and the votes to be counted. We've had times where it is past 1, 2 a.m. on the East Coast, and it's a murky picture. It's our job, everyone's job, is supposed to follow the evidence, not spin, and wait. But there wasn't a lot of waiting last night because it came in early and quickly because the races were not even close. The Democrats were winning quickly and decisively, and here's how some of those victories sunk in across the news coverage in real time. Our lead team collected the key moments here. You're going to see it actually takes a minute because there were so many.
It is election night here at MSNBC. It could prove to be a test of how his first 9 months in office have gone.
Democrats won 3 high-profile races. Lovely has done an extraordinary job in mobilizing people at the grassroots level. She's winner of the New York City mayoral race. It will be Zohran Mamdani.
Zohran Mamdani completed an improbable and rather astonishing surge. Though somebody with the views of Zohran Mamdani could ever win and be mayor of New York City, I don't think I would have believed it. It is a good day for New York, but not many people I think.
NBC News can now project that the state of Virginia will have its new governor. First ever female governor will be Democrat Abigail Spanberger.
Abigail is exactly the right thing at exactly the right moment.
Abigail Spanberger will be elected the governor of Virginia.
NBC News projects that the Democratic candidate, Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill, has prevailed.
Mikey Sherrill will be elected the next governor of New Jersey. The overperformance by both of these Democratic candidates in their respective states is a big signal.
Very high turnout, higher turnout than they've seen in the governor's race here in years.
I don't think you ever need to look very far in current politics to wondering what the effect of Donald Trump was in his.
President Trump downplayed his role in last night's results, blaming it on the shutdown. If people voted on lower prices, they got revenge benefits. And if they voted on jobs, they got DOGE and a shutdown.
Very big night for Democrats. They had a clean sweep in all the major races they were running in.
A sweep. A sweep in all the major races. You don't agree with politics, don't think another sweep means people see it in sports. This was decisive. Now, what the voters said, the results here are not just gathering matters. They also really break some of the overreaction and capitulation of Trump among the many elites. And so, before I bring in Michael, I want to share a word about that context here with you as we cover all this and think about how we got here and why it might seem surprising or even a jolt to people that Republicans just got rejected, that Trump's first-year, second-term agenda is under fire. So here's a little context. Just bear with me, because I think you'll find this somewhat relevant. A weird moment where history you might remember. Donald Trump lost in 2020 by 4 points. Now, it was a clear rejection by the people. Then some did declare his political career completely over. And that narrative was obviously too sweeping. He did return in 2024 with a comeback, and he won. He won less decisively than Biden in 20. Trump won by 1.5 points, amid a tough economy that hurts income. And then we got this other sweeping narrative that popped up. This overstated claim. We've probably heard from the Republicans for the state their interest, but we also heard from the media and from the business community and from others who have all the different reasons that they got there. But this very overstated claim that Trump is now suddenly, after this point-and-a-half shift, maybe now he was very popular, or he was the new mainstream, or the people who went his way last year, a year ago this week, were now part of some wider permanent coalition where he was doing better among different groups, including interesting groups that he struggled with in the past, younger people, Latinos. All of that hype for this point-and-a-half margin a year ago has proven even more overstated, misleading than the other past narratives I mentioned. And sometimes the narratives are wrong against him, sometimes they're wrong for him. That's why we always try to deal with evidence and numbers on this show, not just sweeping claims. But Trump and his MAGA agenda, we can now say with another election to come. Trump and his MAGA agenda have fared very poorly among the voters in all but one election they've ever ran in the MAGA era. He got fewer votes in 16, blew away in 18, lost in 20 by 4 points, I just reminded you. Underperformed in 22 after his Supreme Court justices broke their vows and reversed women's rights. 24, comeback by a point and a half. And now last night, rejected again, including especially his radical second-term iteration. The dark matter that we hear about, the hardcore Trump, the mass delusions, the revenge indictments, the government shutdown. I don't want to put my hands up too many times, but I'm not being dramatic. I'm listing off the things they've been doing, and I'm reminding everyone they never were very popular. We had one election out of the bunch, more narrowly than Democrats, and last night the voters had waited. With people living under Trump's second term, there is a broad dissatisfaction with Trump among all voters who weighed in. That's what the exit shows. Exit polls, example everybody, it's not a poll result. It reinforces something that we've been covering, that Rachel pointed out could be significant from the very beginning. And many journalists on the ground, local reporters, I know they pop in and attack all of the media all the time these days, but we have all this footage from journalists, citizen reporters, and phone videos showing what millions of people are saying, which is no kids in America. They're not saying we could never have a Republican president or everything Donald Trump ever said and did is wrong. They're very specifically saying the admitted autocratic agenda of the second term, which trolls or uses or plans a coup for a third term, which challenges democracy as we know it. They're saying no king, no Saddam. If the huge no-king's protest last month was a shock, New York Times writes, the election was the chaser. Democrats show once more that they could turn out and deliver a powerful vote from Mr. Trump as in the White House. So that's just what happened last night. That's what the public is saying. If you look ahead and combine that with some of the punchback political energy that some Democratic states are showing, including the California punch, fight fire with water, as I mentioned, that also could affect next